Hey guys, welcome back to another Autosaver Moto Minute. Today we're going to talk about 3 ways that dealerships are making money on your car deal. Now we all know car dealerships are out to make money, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. They are a business. They're there to make a living. They're there to make a profit, and that's great. But it's also your goal as a consumer to save as much money and get the best deal that you possibly can in every single transaction. Both of those things can exist at the same time, and that's what we're here to help you achieve. So let's talk about these 3 ways right now. All right, now we all know that dealerships make money on the profit of a car. So they buy a car for one price, they sell it for a higher price. So we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about 3 more hidden ways that you may or may not know about. So one of those is under allowing on your trade. Let's say you go in and you take your car and to trade it in at a dealership. And let's say that your car is worth $10,000 and the dealership knows that. That's what they valued your trade at. But the dealers aren't going to show you $10,000. When they present your numbers, they have the price of the car you're buying and your trade-in value. They're going to show you $8,000. Now, remember, I just told you $10,000 was the value that they came up with for your car. But the way that works is if they present you with an $8,000 offer and you accept it, they just gain $2,000 more in profit because 8 from 10 is $2,000. And actually, in most cases, your sales rep gets paid on the under allowance. That's what that's called, under allowing on your trade, because they're undervaluing your trade from what it's actually worth on the trade-in value. So that's one way they can make some extra money on you. Make sure that, like I always preach, education is the key to negotiation. Make sure you know what your trade value is when you go into the dealership and what you are willing to accept for it. All right, the next way that a dealership makes money on your car deal that you may or may not know about is through dealer add-ons and accessories. So what that is anytime you see your final numbers, very often, this is a very common practice, you will see some type of line item on there for a paint protection or an etch or door edge guards or all these things that they call it. There's a million things that they'll call it. We at Autosaver strongly suggest you negotiate those completely out of your deal because they're always negotiable and almost always you can negotiate them out. Now, some dealers absolutely downright refuse, and that's fine. There's plenty of dealers out there. Go to the next dealer. But these are ways that dealers add on these things to raise the price up. We've even seen where dealers will show you a price online. They'll show you a great discount online. You call in, you try to purchase the vehicle for that price, and they have all these add-ons that get you right back up to MSRP or even higher. So watch out for those. And last but certainly not least, the way that a dealership makes money on your car deal is the finance office. When you go into a finance office at a dealership, you are stepping into one of the most, if not the most profitable area of a car dealership. The finance office makes money on your car deal with a lot of ways, with extended warranty coverages. But the big one that you don't really know about or can slide under the radar is rate bumps. So let's say that you go into a dealership, you give them your credit information, they submit your credit application to a bank. That bank comes back and says, hey, this customer is approved. Their interest rate is 6.25%. The finance manager is going to tell their salesperson, hey, they're approved. Their interest rate is 7.25%. So they bumped your interest rate a point, and they make money on the back end of that by not only do they make money on submitting it over to the bank, and then if you process the loan through them, they also make additional money on top of raising your interest rate, which also costs you more money, not only in your payment, but also in the interest that you're paying, and so on and so forth. Now, another thing that a finance manager will also do, be leery of, is they will send over a payment, right? You get a payment from the finance manager. Hey, your payment that you actually got from the bank is $600 a month. Well, the finance department might send you a payment out of $720 a month. There's a $120 difference. Sometimes it's $650, might be even $685. Whatever that number is, it's going to be a lot higher than what your actual payment is. Why do they do that? Because they know that you're going to come in there to sign your paperwork. And when you do that, they're going to try to sell you extended warranties. And they're going to sell you those extended warranties on payment increases, not the cost of the warranty. Because it's a lot easier for somebody to justify paying a little bit more money for all this extra warranty that they claim that you may or may not need. So if that warranty, if you were to go in there and they're at the $600 payment that you actually got, and they said, hey, Mr. Customer, we can give you this warranty, but it's only $120 more a month, you're going to be like, whoa. But if they go in there and you say, hey, and you already prepared with a $685 a month payment, and you go in there and they say, hey, Mr. Customer, you can have this great warranty for only $15 more a month because it's going to bump you to $700. Well, that's because they added $85 of what they call leg in your payment, but it's really like bumped payment to justify that the cost of their product is less. Keep that in mind when you're going into the finance office. That is the most profitable area of a dealership. That's a reason that's a way that they can make money on you. There's ways that you can avoid that, and we will cover that in another video, but just keep that in mind. These are very important things to watch out for when you're negotiating your next car deal. If you don't want to go through the stress and anxiety and haggle and hassle of doing this, as always, you can hire us at autosaver.net. If not, I hope you learned something from today's video. Have a great day, drive safe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.